like when my water broken at home and we were headed to the hospital. He had every dadgum bump.
Your water broke at home? I didn't know
Yes, both times.
On this
Both
episode
kids.
of Talk Sporty to Me, we have birthing stories.
No, it's remember when your water broke at home.
But that was not during football season. But my husband had every bump on the way to the hospital. And I hollered at him for it. Because water went everywhere. Just like my coffee cup. On the way to OU, Texas.
This is
Oh my
amazing.
goodness, I'm dying.
So ladies,
It was about this messy.
let's reel it back in now.
Maybe a little messier.
Shawn and Dana, control yourselves. Control yourselves.
Bringing it back to.
How are we
Alright.
feeling this year? What
This
are we
is
wanting to
Talk
see?
Sporty in the back of the Ford on the way to the Cotton Bowl. This is a sign we do. Hey, hey. And you got to see Bree's shirt because it's got this on. It's like,
I'll make
this
a
is
cameo
not
in a
worth
minute.
a penalty
I'll make a
because this is good. This is awful. You know, you got to get in the game. We're trying to get fired up for the football game.
Jane is definitely fired up.
Do we have any pregame predictions, scores, appearances?
just
Are we going to
can't
see
go
a general out
I
there?
just
See a general.
we need to see General Booty or we need to see Nick Evers or maybe we need to see both of them.
Yep.
We're going to have some offense, guys, to win this game.
Yes.
We got to have some defense too. But they've been working on it this week.
Yes.
They're coming through
That's right.
for us.
They are.
Yeah.
They'll do it.
I hope so.
Me too.
All right, we're going to say hello to the other people that are guests. This is Nicole. She's dragged into this. There's Brett, who said he's going to be generally
Nicole's
pissed.
from Allen, so she knows about the general. She watched the general play high school ball his
Good.
senior year.
She did.
He was good. He ran the ball a lot, but
That's
we'll
what
see
we
what he does.
We need that.
We'll
We need some
Okay,
legs. But he looked good in high
He
school.
looked good in high school. Yeah,
Okay.
a couple of games I went
Best
to.
one on the field, right?
Uh-huh.
You
Yep.
just knew right then and there he'd do some good for OU football.
Yep.
Yeah.
Certainly did.
That's what was going through your head.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
was only their senior year.
We have to give Nicole props. She's an Alabama fan, and she
Roll
is
Tide.
coming with us today
Oh.
and supporting
Okay,
an
at
OU
least you got
shirt.
OU.
All right, now you need to show my shirt. Don't touch any buttons.
I'm not going to touch any buttons.
Okay, everybody. Here's my shirt.
Hey.
Worth the
penalty.
penalty. Poor Texas. Okay, this has been riveting. And I think we should be done now. Say goodbye, hosts.
Goodbye. We're headed to park, and then after the game, we'll have to resume. All right. What happens when you take Oklahoma Sooner football and you add two very passionate and very opinionated ladies? What do you get? You get Talk Sporty. Welcome to Talk Sporty. This is season 1, episode 8, and we are coming to you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
My backyard.
From Shawn's backyard, right after the OU Texas debacle.
Or something like that.
For lack of a better word. I'm Dana,
I'm Shawn.
and we're here to talk sporty.
Yes, we are.
All right, Shawn, you want to give me some ideas, some of your opinions after the game?
Oh, I don't know. It's just so bad, so rough. My first thought, and like I thought while we were there, we stayed till the very end of the game.
We were at the game. We cheered our boys on
We did.
the entire time.
We cheered when Nick Evers came in. Go,
Yes,
Nick!
go, Nick.
Nick!
Let him pass.
Yes.
And they didn't hear us.
They didn't. But my first thought is this one, this is not on the players. This one is on the coaches.
I wholeheartedly agree,
100%.
Shawn. 100%.
Yeah.
Their game plan was bleh.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Well, especially offensively, they knew that Dylan was very unlikely.
To play.
Yes, and
After
they knew
the
that.
head injury against TCU.
Yep, they knew that, and so if your game plan is what they put out there on the field today, that's not an offensive game plan.
It is totally
That's-
unacceptable
Yeah.
for your game plan to be
Trickery.
trickery and hope that you're going to run Wildcat with 3 or 4 different people taking the snap.
Right.
for a whole game,
Yeah.
and Texas defense isn't going to figure out what you're doing and stop it at some point,
Yeah.
like they did the whole second half.
Yeah.
That
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean,
Totally.
yes, it was exciting when we first started it, and we did make some yards doing it.
We did. We made like 171 yards in the first half, and they were all predominantly on the Wildcat.
Yeah. But that's still, I mean, we didn't score.
Didn't score.
Yeah.
Didn't score at all. We had a little trick play that got us to get a first down on a fourth and short.
Right.
And that was a great pass. Maybe Turk should have been in playing quarterback too. Some
Turk
of that time.
gets the game ball.
Yes, game ball to Turk.
Game ball to the
Pass
punter
completion.
who passed,
To Schmidt.
completed the pass to the kicker.
Yes, to the kicker. Schmidt catches it, gets first down.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't make a first down from inside the 10.
Because we had fourth and very short, and we can't just have our 6-7 quarterback do a sneak.
Yeah. Why didn't the QB do a QB key?
Or go ahead and continue the Wildcat, right? I mean.
But instead, we drop him back
way back
from the line of scrimmage.
with Gray behind him.
And we give the ball to Eric Gray, who's still further back, and we don't get a short yardage attempt on another fourth down. And we turn the ball
And then we also don't get 3 points.
because we were foolish and didn't kick.
And at that time, it was 7-0.
Yes, and that would have made it 7-3. If we'd gotten the fourth down conversion that second time, it would have made potentially would have made it 7-7.
Yeah.
I get that, but instead we made 0 the whole game. 0.
Yeah, big goose egg.
The last time I've got to look the stat. The last time that OU was shut out against Texas was in 1965.
Back when LBJ
was the president.
And for those of you who don't know who LBJ was, look it up. Do some history lesson.
Stinks.
It does. It
Stinks big time.
Well, and so like during the week, Venables, I think I'd heard Venables say, well, we've got 3 guys,
Yes, taking reps.
We've got 3 guys taking reps. But they just didn't tell us that the 3 guys taking reps were our tight end, our running back, and our wide receiver.
Yes, those were the 3 guys.
Yeah.
We all thought, it's our backup quarterbacks. It's Davis Bevel, and it's General Booty, and it's Nick Evers.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think that's really what it was.
No.
Why would you have 3 scholarship quarterbacks on the sidelines, 3, and you only let one of them play in the game until the last 7 minutes, and then you let one of them come in and you tell him to only hand off and up the middle? Come on.
You know why you let him come in then?
Yes.
Well, because you're afraid that he's going to pull the SMU players thing and say, I'm going to protect my red shirt. I'm not playing anymore for you because I'm out of here.
Yes.
I'm hitting the portal because if this is what these coaches think of me, if they think I am worse than what you've got out there on the field, which is basically your second string quarterback who's lining up at tight end most of the time.
Of the game, yes.
And you're not letting him throw downfield. Never tried to target Marvin. Poor Marvin Mims, such a great player, and weren't using him. And so, I mean, if I was Nick Evers and General Booty, I would have been pissed off.
Oh, me too.
I was pissed off for them.
I was too. I mean, and again, we stayed, we supported the team, we yelled, we hollered. This was not the boys' fault.
No.
This was Coach Lebby's fault.
Yeah.
That kind of game plan is not what a D1 blue blood football team can do.
It's not a game plan. It's so embarrassing. I mean, it's like I was reading on Twitter, and they're not wrong. Kansas has a better second string quarterback than what we were putting out there. Yeah. And
while you're talking about that,
Yeah.
that was one of the things they kept making a big deal out of. We've got these 3 guys taking snaps, and we're going to put the one out there that's going to help us win. Okay, are you telling me that they're not ready? That was one of the quotes that Venables said earlier in the week. Whoever's ready. I know Coach Lebby may say they're not ready, but I've been watching them during the week, and they look ready. If they're not ready, whose responsibility is it that they're not ready? It is Coach Lebby's responsibility and Coach Venables' responsibility if the QBs on the backup side are not ready to play, it is their responsibility. It has nothing to do with them. Nick Evers is a 4-star QB.
Dual threat QB.
Dual threat QB.
Yeah, so the guy can throw.
General Booty played in Allen High School. We've talked with people that watched him play high school ball. We know his stats from JUCO last year.
Right, yeah.
He's
and
ready to play.
What
He's a
were
dual
his
threat.
passing stats in JUCO?
3,400 yards
Yeah, the guy
last
can throw
year.
too. I mean, I know
and
it's
over
JUCO, right?
500
But I mean,
yards rushing. He's a dual threat.
He was on the field
Yes.
last year. Bevel was on the bench
Yes.
last year.
Third string backup at
So
Pitt.
there's something to be said. I mean, yes, there's something to be said for the reps you get in a D1 program. I get that. But he was not on the field really. Booty was on the field all the time.
He was actually
leading a team, taking a team. Nick Evers, his team, pretty sure Flower Mound went kind of deep into the playoffs last year. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, I mean, it's not okay.
Right.
Not okay.
And if they're not ready, it's
other
your own
D1 schools
responsibility.
start freshman quarterbacks.
Yep.
Wouldn't be the first time. Last year we put a freshman quarterback in at the
At
Texas
the
game.
OU Texas game. Imagine that.
And look what happened.
Was he ready? I would dare say, somebody might say that he wasn't ready. But what happened? He went in.
Yeah.
He won the game.
Yes. Yeah.
And what did we do? We ran the Wildcat. That was our option.
Yeah.
Wildcat for the whole game.
And what frustrates me is I hate it for those guys who were out there trying hard. I saw one time when Eric Gray had this guy just draped on him, and he just kept
dragging
running.
him. Yes.
He was dragging
He got some more yardage.
this guy. I saw Farouk do similar things. I saw Braden Willis out there lined up at quarterback, working to try and make things happen, right?
Uh-huh.
I saw poor Marvin Mims running all the way down the field getting open.
And he's like,
I
I'm
mean,
wide open. Nobody could get in the ball.
And so
Nobody.
You know, they're out there, and I think they're leaders, and I'm not putting this one on those guys at all, and it just makes me sad.
It makes my heart hurt for them to know they wanted to do well. They did everything in their power to do well.
Yes.
But they were told, they were led by someone who was incompetent.
Who's like, this is our best option. This is the best product we can put out on the field. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it is a product, right? These days, college football is a product.
It is a product. Uh-huh.
It's a product, and ROC is saying this is the best product we have to put out on the field, and I don't believe that. I don't believe
we're better than that.
I think the talent is there, and I know people have been the past couple weeks saying, well, our defense isn't better than this, and you know all that, and I mean I think our defensive guys are doing some good things too. I know, you know, we let Texas score 49 points, but let's think about the last 2 or 3 years. Both teams have scored in the 40s or almost.
Yes,
so
that's
I mean,
true.
that's like OU Texas, right? I mean, that's nothing new for the past few years. We were just scoring more points, and
Well, Texas almost scored at will.
yes.
But the offense didn't help the defense
No.
any because they couldn't keep a run going. They couldn't make enough yardage except the first possession in the first in the first quarter, and the possession right near the end of the first half. Both of those possessions went for a little bit longer time. The others would just be 3 and out, or maybe a first down and another 3 and out. That didn't let the defense have any rest whatsoever, and they're right back out on the field. And guess what? Texas would march 60 yards, 80 yards. They weren't huge plays like they had been
we weren't
the last 2 weeks.
Exactly. So I found that a bright spot.
I did too.
I mean, we started out. They had a 3 and out. Texas did.
Yes.
So
we stopped them.
We stopped them, and we did that some more. And we let's face it, Bijan Robinson is a heck of a player.
Well, he's going to get 100
Right?
yards. He is.
I mean, he's a heck of a player, and we, did kind of make him work for some of their stuff defensively. And I know people will just go, I see some people going on and on about how bad our defense is. I don't think our defense is bad. They may not be great, but you know, they're okay. But this offensive product, this was on Levy. He did not have a good game plan. Because it's like my husband said, that was his game plan when my son played third grade football.
Yes, that's something a third grade coach might come up with.
Yeah, well, you play quarterback this series. You play quarterback this series. Let's run this little Wildcat thing. We want to make sure all the boys get to touch the ball and stuff. Yeah.
What's Jeff Levy paid?
$1.8 million.
$1.8 million to come up with that for a game plan.
Yeah.
I have to think that he didn't do a whole lot of homework on that. That, again, I just have to say ridiculous. Very ridiculous. And he should be apologizing for his lack of planning. Now, Venables apologized and said the coaches weren't doing a good job at this or that or this or that. I want to hear it out of Levy's mouth.
Well, I think there needs to be some responsibility. I wouldn't necessarily be sad if they
hit the road.
Yeah, not Venables necessarily, but I don't remember what year it was, but when after the OU Texas game, Mike Stoops.
Oh yeah, Mike Stoops was fired because the defense looked so abysmal.
Yeah.
Well.
And let me tell you. And it wasn't like a 49-0 kind of thing.
Right. And so let me tell you, today the offense looked abysmal.
Yeah.
We had 171 yards in the first half, and that's when we sprung this Wildcat option on them.
Yes.
And you know how many yards we had in the second half, Shawn?
How many, Dana?
We had 24. 24 yards in the second half. Now, is that enough to score one touchdown? No. And we were down 28-0 going into halftime.
Yeah.
You know what? Texas made some halftime adjustments. They were like, oh, all they can do is run it up the middle.
Yeah.
Let's just stop that.
Yes.
And you know what? They did.
They did.
They stopped that. And you know what?
Because it wasn't
we made
hard
no halftime adjustments.
It wasn't hard to game plan for, right? I mean,
Duh.
So we all thought
one-dimensional.
What did we think was going to come in at halftime? We thought Booty or Nick Evers.
Yes.
They'll
come in and play the second half.
Either
one or both.
Yes. Yeah, both. Do whatever. I mean, goodness gracious. Do something different because what you're doing is not working.
Correct.
And so
you laid a goose egg in the first half.
At this
Why
point,
don't we try and score?
It's not going to work. We've shown it's not going to work. And basically, also the game plan looks to me like they don't have confidence in Bevel, right? They don't ask him to throw it downfield.
No.
They'll throw him out there at tight end, and so the defense is not even having to account for him because
he's
know
a player on the field that will never touch the ball.
I mean, you know, with his height, if you're going to put him out there at tight end, you know, or way wide, you have him come across the middle and hope he can catch something. I don't know, but so the offensive staff does not appear to have any confidence in Davis Bevel either. And so why would you play him? And why did you recruit these other guys if you don't have confidence in them?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss.
I don't understand. And we sat by each other at the game, so we talked a lot of football during the game. But we came up with, why don't you say, okay, this is what we can do with Wildcat. We can accomplish some trick plays.
And
maybe make a score.
Throw it out there every now and then. You know, the bell dozer was our trick play that used to always work. I'm not beyond running the Wildcat.
Me either.
I mean, we had a little bit of success with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then let's say, this is what General Booty does.
Yes.
Let's let him go out, and he has his 2 or 3 plays or his scheme that works for him. Let's let him go out and do that.
Yeah, let him have a few series.
If the defense responds well and stops it, then let's let Nick Evers go out and have his little scheme. And
bringing it back to Michigan, let's just pull a Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, pull a Jim Harbaugh. But do it with so-and-so gets the first quarter, so-and-so gets the second quarter.
Yeah.
Whoever's last man standing gets the third and fourth quarter.
Because
maybe we could have scored.
Because we're in such disarray right now, and I also, like we were talking about during the game, I really fear for a revolt from the players.
Oh, I would
Right?
be one of the ones
Well,
revolting.
same. I mean, I'd be so ticked off.
I'd say you recruited me to play quarterback, and you let a wide receiver and a tight end and a running back play quarterback instead of putting me out there to try.
Sure, and if I were those guys, I'd be mad too. I'd be
Yes.
like, okay, that was fun for a couple plays, but that's not what I've signed up for.
No.
That's not where my strengths are. And this is what you have me doing when, I mean, you know, Farouk's probably going, I've caught passes that those guys have thrown before, you know, in spring game and practice. And you've got me running up the middle. I don't know. It's just
or let
beyond.
Farouk or Braden Willis. Why did we not practice any long balls?
Yeah.
Why did we not say, Marvin Mims, just stand down there,
Hey,
and
Braden
we're going to
Willis
throw
has
you the
thrown
ball?
a touchdown pass this year.
Right. And we didn't let them do
No.
that at all.
No.
I say we, as in our coaching staff, did not allow any of that to be a called play at the line of scrimmage.
We got some fireworks going on close by, don't we?
It must be coming from Austin because it sure isn't going to be coming from Norman.
So talking about that stuff, so these are some interesting stats. So Bevel at quarterback had 26 plays while he was in there, like 53 yards, 1 interception. Evers, 6 plays for 17 yards. And 4 different Wildcat quarterbacks, 23 plays, almost as many as Bevel, for 133 yards.
So they were effective.
Yes.
Until the second half.
Yeah.
They were effective. We did catch them off guard that first half.
Yeah.
But we needed to have another game plan coming up for the second half.
Yes, exactly. And to be fair, with those 4 Wildcat quarterbacks, 1 interception with them too. So 2 interceptions.
Yes, that was that little jump pass.
Yeah.
I mean,
which if you're going to do that, put Bevel right there because he's tall.
Right.
Maybe he can catch the ball. If we're going to make it a basketball play, let's make you're a really tall guy.
Well, and I think a QB playing as a QB knows that you can't throw that. But maybe a running back filling in as a QB is like, I might can sneak this in there. And it was thrown right to the Texas defender.
Yeah.
I mean,
he wasn't Tebow.
Yeah. Not at all.
No. And so, should we just maybe...
It was just very disappointing to watch it. The other thing that we talked about earlier that we need to go ahead and talk about on here is Marvin Mims has got to be upset. They're not. They tried to get him the ball behind the line of scrimmage at one point.
Right. Yeah. He only had 1 target. I mean, you know, he has only thrown to 1 time in his minus 2 yards.
Negative gain.
Yeah.
Poor guy, get the ball to him. He's your playmaker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's our playmaker.
Kind of like Stoops. Poor guy, get the ball to him.
Yeah.
He's going to catch it if it's anywhere in the vicinity.
Right.
So, yes, those guys have to be upset with the fact that the coaches don't want to get them the ball.
Right.
Will this hurt recruits that have already said they're coming to play at OU? Are they going to look at this and say, gosh, that's not a very good game plan. What are they going to do if I'm on the sidelines next year?
Well, and so in this day and age with the transfer portal the way it is, so many of these guys, especially, you know, these 4-star, 5-star guys, they want to come in and they want to play right away.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not, they want the people ahead of them to be quite a bit better than them. And so the person on the field today was not better than them.
No.
And so they're like, okay, so Nick Evers, he was a highly recruited quarterback, and he's not getting in ahead of this guy. So why would I want to go there? Because even if I'm working my tail off, and I mean, I have to assume that Nick Evers looks better in practice than what Bevel's doing. I mean, I have to assume that.
He has to.
And even if
they let him pass.
Right, and even if he's not, why don't we try it? Because that wasn't working. And what was it that, I mean, I know we're so bagging on Bevel, but it's kind of an easy target. But even at post-game press conference, he kind of seemed like he was doing okay, right?
I mean, sat through the post-game press conference, or I sat through it on YouTube. Venables comes out and talks.
She took one for the team.
I wasted 25 minutes
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Reggie Grimes is there to talk for the defense, and David Aguibo. They were not asked very many questions, and Davis Bevel and Braden Willis were there for the offense. Venables answered most of the questions. Most of the questions were, what about practice? You know, did you feel that you were ready? You know, all those sorts of things.
Sure.
And he gave us the things that we've already talked about. We went with who we felt would be the best to give us success. And we threw the Wildcat in kind of as a wrinkle, knowing that would catch Texas by surprise.
Except it wasn't a wrinkle because it seemed like the game plan.
That was the game plan.
We ran it so much more than just a wrinkle.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then he talked about how we missed some assignments on defense that allowed them to get third down conversions when we should have been able to hold them. And then we weren't able to get our third down conversions because we'd gotten behind on our first and second downs. And so they were long third downs and couldn't convert. And so then they did ask the players different things. And they asked Davis Bevel what he thought about his game. And he said, this was my first start. I was nervous. He said, it's a different atmosphere. Half of the crowd loves you, and half of the crowd hates you. And he said, I felt calm, cool, and collected. These are quotes. I felt calm, cool, and collected when I went out there as a starter, and I thought I did a pretty good job. I did what I was asked to do.
He wasn't asked to do very much.
I would have to say so. He was
asked to do very much.
Minus 21 yards rushing because that's what was on the stat sheet. And he had 38 yards passing, 6 of 12 attempts, 38 yards passing. His total yardage was 17 yards.
Yeah, nice.
If that's what he was asked to do, great.
Yeah.
We needed to ask more.
We need to ask more, right.
Shawn and I asked more from our players.
Well, and the coaches should ask more, and the players want more. They have a right to want more.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they have a right to
want more. This is D1 blue blood football. We were ranked 6th at the start of the season. We're now 3 wins, and we've had 3 losses. And after the K-State game loss, we said, well, it can't get any worse. Oh, wait, it got worse the next week. TCU beat us, it got worse. Oh, wait, it got even worse this week. So it's got to stop.
And
I want to see the coaches get mad. Come on, Venables.
And maybe some heads roll. I wouldn't be so sad if some heads didn't roll.
Instead, he's in the press conference. He's calm. He's not his old self that he was when he was our defensive coordinator, and you had to pull him off the field to keep him from getting a penalty. It's like he's on Xanax or something. He's like, we got to do better.
Spoken like a true doctor.
He did accept blame. You know, we got to put our team in better. We got to put our boys in a better situation. Yes, you do. But I want to see you fired up, dude.
Yeah.
I want to see you out there, and I want to see you do something to turn the team around.
I want you to want more than that.
Yes. And don't be on Xanax.
And if that means that you have to look for a different offensive coordinator,
you
need to have somebody be responsible for this, then have somebody be responsible for what happened today.
And you are ultimately responsible.
Yes.
So you've got to pump some kind of fire and passion into these coaches, because the kids still have it. I sat there and watched the press conference, and they said all the right things. They're doing everything they're asked to do. They said Braden Willis spoke up and said, we being leaders, and points to the guys sitting there, we've got to do better and lead our younger players to do better. They're doing everything they can do.
I think they are.
Give them some better opportunities.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. What more can you say? I mean, offense. We could go on, and we have, and we do. One thing I really noticed, we were talking about the defense, and when Texas upped that offensive tempo, that really hurt our defense.
It hurt our D, yes.
So
we wouldn't be set even, and they're snapping the ball.
Yeah, and so those guys, whatever needs to be done for them to be ready to get into position faster, they need to do that. Defense is complicated, fine. Get those guys to be able to get in position faster. That really killed our D when they started doing that, kind of the end of the first quarter, the second quarter, that high tempo game that Texas offense was playing. So towards the end of the game, I'd like to see some of our younger guys get in there, and they were, we've already talked about how we like to see these younger quarterbacks getting to play and be asked to do stuff. I mean, Nick Evers got in there, but he really wasn't called upon.
Right. I think they told him just hand off up the middle. Try and not lose the ball.
Right.
Why don't we let him take some snaps that are meaningful?
Yes, because goodness gracious, we knew we weren't going to win the game.
There's no way we're going to win. It's 49-0. Let him pass.
Let's see what he can do.
Okay, what if he throws an interception? Is that any better than what we were doing?
It's not any worse, right?
No. Yes, worse.
Yeah,
I said better.
Worse. No, well, either way.
Yes.
Either way.
I said that backwards.
So, few of the younger guys that got to play on defense, Jaron Kanek, sorry, I called you Jared last week. Kip Lewis.
Yes,
played.
He's a true freshman.
Yep. All these guys are true freshmen. Gentry Williams, Grayson Holton, they all got in there.
They all got in there to
the
play
end.
some. Yes.
And I mean, we were like, oh, who is that? Let me look his number up real fast. So
they got involved in some tackles, some assists, and they got some meaningful snaps. Texas was just doing the kind of stall the ball, run it up the middle.
Let's get this game over with.
I was a little surprised, and Shawn and I talked about this at the game. It's 4th and long, and they went for a field goal, and they're up 49-0. And we're in the middle of the fourth quarter. Game is totally out of hand. There is no way we are going to come back and win. And they went for another score. And that is not good sportsmanship. Sark, you suck. I will tell you that to your face. You suck to do something like that. And you just wait. You just wait. Your time is coming, boy.
Yeah, okay.
And if you think this is... That's one more thing for Sark.
Seriously.
If you think that this is your signature win, because you don't have one yet, you look at me in the eyes, Sark. You don't have one yet, and this is not it. 49-0, trying to make it over 50. I'm glad you missed, and you still suck.
So Dana looks at me, and she goes, we wouldn't do that. And I'm looking at her like, oh, yes, we would.
Bob Stoops would not have done that.
She's like, we wouldn't
Bob
do that.
would
And
not
I'm
have
like,
done that.
hang 100 on him. Maybe
Bob
the
would
coach
not have done that. How many times did we let
I will
the
tell you,
running back take a knee?
Not
against
against OU Texas.
Yes, we did.
I have been up there in the stands going, score,
Well, yes,
some
we'd be
more.
yelling that. And Texas would yell that too. But Bob would not do that.
Oh,
How many times did we take a knee?
They were trying to get to 50.
Yes,
they were trying really
They
hard
were.
to get
And
to
you
50.
suck, Sark.
And we kept you from getting to 50.
Yes,
so
we did.
Win. Oh,
That's
my
our
goodness.
moral victory.
Things have come way down. Okay, so Dana, here's some freshmen I want to see play more.
Yes.
All right, because if we're just going to, have
I need a Xanax.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I don't have any in my house. Got some Advil for you, girl. I don't think that's going to do it. All right. So if it's going to just be one of those seasons, and if it's a rebuilding year, which I hate that for the upperclassmen, if it's a rebuilding year. But if it is, so let's just take some of these great freshmen we have.
Let them play.
And let's put Caden Helms tight end in there.
Yes.
Hey, stick him out there where you've got Bevel. What's that going to hurt? If you got Braden playing quarterback, stick Caden Helms out there. He's tall. He's big. Okay. Kobe McKenzie, linebacker.
Yes.
Didn't they kind of talk like they might play him today?
That they might pull his,
I didn't
pull
see
his
him
red
out
shirt
there.
year.
I
We didn't see him play.
Yeah.
Let him play.
Let him
Come
play.
on. That way maybe he won't get into the transfer portal.
I will tell you, if we start the Kansas game, well, I guess Gabriel's probably going to be back. But if
Maybe.
something happened and Gabriel wasn't back and we put Bevel out there, I would flip. Hey, Robert Spears Jennings, he's supposed to be a stud defensive back. Let's put him in.
Let's let him play some
Jason
more.
Llewellyn, another tight end. Let's let some of these guys who came on board, who believed in what Venables was doing.
Yes.
And because, as we were saying too, this is not college football 5 years ago. The transfer portal, you can, during those windows, you can jump in it, or you can just, like we said, quiet quit. Like those
the SMU players.
those SMU players, and say, "Oh, I'm going to save that red shirt of mine, and I'm just not. I'm going to enter the portal
at the end of the year.
At the end of the year, we need to keep these guys. We need to get the recruits who have already committed. I mean, none of them have signed anything, right?
Correct.
So this class that we have that's supposed to be, coming in, that's
Top
supposed
5.
to be so good, they're not there yet.
Nope.
And if I was an offensive player and saw what happened today, I would be really leery.
Coming on
yes.
to a team like
word
that's
is the
run that way.
defensive players, some of them are gonna come into this great, Venables defense, and Venables has shown his stuff at Clemson and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah, I know I didn't really finish that thought because it's just.
Well, another freshman, Gavin Freeman, they had him back to do kickoff returns.
Yeah.
He's the kid that came in and scored a touchdown.
Remember, I gave him the game ball first game.
First game.
He was my game ball boy.
Let's let him play.
Yeah.
Instead, they didn't want him to run any kickoffs back. And we got a lot of kickoffs. We'd have had a lot of practice.
Yes.
7 times it got kicked off to him.
Yeah.
Why didn't we even try that?
Yeah.
And I know they're worried about folks getting hurt, but geez, we had nothing else going for us.
No, we didn't.
So I guess we've ranted and raved enough.
Yes.
We play Kansas next Saturday. Kansas starting QB was injured in the game, went out in second quarter.
Yeah.
Kansas lost, but they did score 31 points against TCU.
Yeah.
We were not able to do that.
No.
So hopefully we'll have a better offensive game plan going into that game, and we'll meet them on Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know the time. I'm assuming
11 a.m.
11
a.m. kick.
Great.
And if Dylan's back,
I hope he is.
I also hope he's not overthrowing people.
Yes. Yes.
And I hope that if Lebby still has a job, that, like I was saying, it reminds me a little bit of what happens with the Dallas Cowboys, because Jerry Jones is the general manager. He tends to want to play the guys that he kind of went out on a limb for.
Yes.
And stuff. And so we all know Gabriel came because of Lebby, and I think Gabriel's probably a great guy, and he does good things. There are times that he does not so good things, but it almost seems like Lebby's like, well, but Gabriel's my guy, so I'm not investing as much into these guys or something, right?
Something like that, yes. So all of my focus is on him this
Yeah.
year and next year, because he can play 2 more years, a total of 2 years, including this year. So I'm going to invest in that, and I'm not going to worry about everything else.
But you do that, you're going to get guys leaving the transfer portal. I mean, leaving the transfer portal. Leaving
the
for
team.
the transfer portal. I can't even talk right now.
Leaving
I'm
the
so
team
verklempt.
through the transfer portal for a different team.
Yes, exactly.
And then, again, we have no backups.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just crazy. Bama's starting quarterback tonight is playing. His starting quarterback is injured. Their backup looks really good.
Yeah.
If Nick Saban can maintain a backup quarterback that's really good, you should be able to also. So come on, coaches.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do better.
Should we just be done?
I guess we better.
Okay. No great Texas memory. I didn't get in a fight.
No, but I almost did.
Yeah, but there was this TCU girl in front of us when people
about.
had cleared out, and she was being.
She was not being nice to our
There's
team.
all sorts of places in this stand.
Yeah.
Go
somewhere
else.
somewhere else.
Go somewhere else. We
Yeah.
don't need you
We don't need you close to us.
saying bad things about
So
our
if
team.
we'd had a beer, we would have sloshed it on her. But we
cheering
didn't even
great-
have any beer.
Dana's been a little violent this weekend. Steer clear of Dana, people.
Okay.
All right. Kansas next week. We'll see what happens. We can have fun stories another time,
Yes.
but we didn't get in a fight. So
That's
there's
right.
that.
We behaved.
No Texas memory fights
No.
from this game.
No, and it wasn't close enough to.
And we don't
To get into
we
a
don't have
fight.
any favorites to
Yeah.
talk about because there's
Yeah. It was a blowout.
Yeah, we're just kind of sad.
We were demoralized, and
Yeah.
I don't know, pretty much dead in our tracks.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll see you next week.
Talking sporty
Boomer,
sooner.
go OU.